Because along the way, I dealt with an eating disorder at a young age. I started my eating disorder at 12 years old. I started to throw up my food every day, and at first it was just a response that made me feel better because I recognized, man, every day I'm getting fat. And we all know kids are cruel. And I thought, well, food did this to me. Well, food, if I just get rid of that, I'm good to go. I'm not going to get made fun of anymore. So, 12 years old, I'm going through this experience of everything I eat, I expel it. You want to know what my motivation was? I just didn't want to be made fun of anymore. I wanted to be accepted. But it didn't work. Not a chance. If anything, it made me more miserable. So then I had another alternative, something that I added on to how I dealt with the hardships that I was going through as a kid. So I started to self-mutilate. I started to cut myself. And I could bet you all either have a pen on you right now, you got real easy access to one. It's a school. And that was my weapon of choice. And I would cut myself right here. It's okay. Right here. Because I can control my pain. I thought, well, throwing up the food thing isn't working. I can at least control the pain that I'm going through. People are still going to make fun of me every day if I still have to cry myself to sleep at night knowing that I got to go to my own personal hell in the morning and get made fun of at every single walk, every single hallway, every single gym class, every single anything, you name it. Hey, fat boy, nice shirt. Get the flip of the food thing. That was a popular one. People used to like to count my chins. And so I cut myself right here. Not on the arm. So that's a rookie mistake. People could see it. They ask questions. What's wrong? Because this whole time I'm trying to keep the illusion that everything's hunky-dory, everything's good. I am pristine. Yeah, I'm gaining weight, and yeah, I'm not really all that healthy, and yeah, I'm really not feeling too well, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let you in on it. I'm going to keep that burden deep down inside. So I don't need to deal with it. Nobody else needs to deal with that. And I got bullied a lot. A lot. And it culminated one day, 2 weeks into my freshman year in high school. And I'm walking through the park, walking home one day. There's a group of kids that always hung out at one of the picnic tables behind this park. And they made fun of me every day. Every day. I thought going to high school things were going to be different. And I was found wrong. Because kids are still cruel. And these kids one day, as they're giving me a hard time, they decided that I wasn't giving them the reaction that they wanted. And after 2 weeks of dealing with this group of 6 kids that hung out at this picnic table behind this park, they approached me. They met me where I was walking, trying to get home. And they were ready to make the statement that I couldn't ignore them anymore. I was going to give them the reaction they wanted. They had duct tape in their backpacks. And they strung me up on some bleachers. One arm here. One arm here, one leg. I am left literally having nowhere to go. And then they took my shirt and they ripped it at the collar. They pulled that sucker all the way down and I'm left hanging. My stomach rolls exposed. And they start to flip them. They start to play with my chins. They start to say, you can't ignore us now, can you, bad boy? And the answer was no, I couldn't. And I was left there for about an hour. I was left there after they had had their 15 minutes of fun. They walked away. And I come from a smaller town in California. A lot of people think California, they picture San Diego, LA, San Francisco. I come from a smaller suburb, not quite as big, not quite as open. And so I'm left there thinking about all these things that I just expressed to you just a moment ago. I'm left thinking about all the choices that I made in my life. And at first I was angry. I was pissed. I hated the world. And I wanted to watch it burn. But then more time went by. And before a homeless man cut me down from those bleachers, which, let me point out, there's no more humbling experience than as a small kid. Small, he said, journalistic. Being hung up on some bleachers let me think about all the poor decisions I've made about myself. And then getting taken down by a homeless man who has sympathy for me. I had two choices I could have made, but before I get to those two choices, I want to make a very, very important point. I'm here today, not because my story is unique. I'm here today not because of the hurdles that I have overcome and the things that I've done that make me a magnificent person. No, I'm here today because I represent the majority. I'm one of many stories exactly like that, only you better believe I'm hella loud about it. Hella, that's California slang. Thanks for having me, Minnesota. And that's why I'm here talking with you guys. Because I'm representative of, I can tell you, more than 3/4 of this room. Because I can see in each one of your faces. And I can see every head nod that you do. I can see every downward glance where you go, yep, I can relate to that. You don't have to be strung up on some bleachers to know pain. You don't need to deal with an eating disorder to know what it feels like not to be appreciative of your own body. You don't need to have a tragic backstory to know the pain of everything that I just discussed. And now I'm getting back to those choices, because now that you know that I'm a representative, I'm an ambassador of the majority. I had two choices. I was on those bleachers. And I hated the world, like I said. I was angry. But then I made a realization. In hindsight's 2020, I never would have wished on anything for what happened to me to have happened. But it happened for a reason. And maybe it was the reason that I needed. But once I got past the anger, I realized, I've had some pretty awful things done to me in my lifetime. But none of them hold a candle to the awful things I've done to myself. When I made that realization, I tell people I was forged and ironed that day. I realized that I wasn't going to treat myself like that anymore. Yeah, sure, there's always going to be bullies. There's always going to be trials and tribulations that life is going to throw your way. But how I handled them did nothing for me. How I handled the hardships that I went through when I was your age, I want you all to know this. Everything that I just discussed with you, all of my biggest life accomplishments, never mind having people paid to have me come out to Minnesota from halfway across the country to come talk to you. My biggest accomplishments happened at your age. My biggest realizations, the reason that I'm here right now, because of the things that I went through. And I know a lot of you can understand a lot of things that I just said. And once I made that realization that I was the master of my own destiny, my brain was my pilot, and I was going to make my body the plane that I wanted it to be, go, still see them? I say, sure don't. They go, you want to know what they're up to? I say, absolutely not. And they say, are you angry? And I said, how do you know? Let me tell you why. So there's never an excuse for that bully experience that I experienced. That was the peak of bullying for me. There's never an excuse for that. Ever, ever, ever. After a while, I thought to myself, hey, what are they going through? I was an outlet for something. Nobody does that with a clear conscience. And I thought to myself, how many of those kids maybe were possibly being beat by their dad when they got home? How many of those kids were going through unimaginable pain that I didn't even know? That maybe if we just had that one instance to sit down and talk with one another, that we would realize that we were all going through the same pain together. And that dissipated the anger pretty quickly. I'll never excuse it, but I'll never be angry at those kids because they're going through their own personal hell. I just so happen to be the outlet that day. And so to sum up, so far where we're at, I was dealing with an eating disorder. I was dealing with depression, something I'm not going to get too much into, but I made 2 suicide attempts. Obviously, they weren't successful in here today. Thank God for that. I never looked back. I went home. Once that homeless man cut me down, I took my shirt that was splayed open, exposing the things that I never wanted to expose to anybody because I couldn't look at it in the mirror myself. And I took my shirt and wrapped it tight. And I walked home. And I didn't say a word to anybody. Not a soul. I called my mom. I said, hey Mom, think we can join the gym? Think we can, you think I can get a membership at 21st Century? That was the local gym there at the time. And my mom, without hesitation, said yes. Now, I can tell you why that's a big deal. I didn't have a lot of money growing up. So no was the answer I heard for everything. Didn't matter what I was asking for. 3 candy bars for $1, Mom, that's a good deal. Nope. Please? Nope. Can I rent this video game, Mom? Nope. No matter what it was, no. And I understood, you know, I get it, we don't have too much money, but hey, I'd hope and pray every time I'd see something that I wanted. But she didn't hesitate. She said, yeah. And she knew that I was going through a tough time. And at first, my motivations were very selfish. Oh, don't get me wrong, I totally wanted to be that guy that pumped myself up and got all buff and then came back and said, take that bully, spam! I took care of him on my own right. But as I started to go through my journey of starting to take care of myself, I made a lot of realizations. I realized that I wasn't there for anybody else. I wasn't taking care of myself for someone else. I wasn't taking care of myself to prove myself to anybody. I was taking care of myself for me because I was sick of feeling miserable. I was sick of feeling like I had settled for my own torture chamber. I was sick of feeling like, man, is this really that bad? And that's where that thought process came from. Nobody's ever done anything as awful to me as I've done to myself. And then I started to see people just like me. All of a sudden, people started to see the transformation I was going through. And as a young kid, I lost 90 pounds. From 14 to 18, I lost 90 pounds while people were going and partying in high school as a kid, at 16, when I lost about 40 pounds, I started getting people coming up to me and going, hey, what'd you do? They started to say, hey, you're looking pretty good. I want to let you know that that means a lot to me. And at first I'm like, why? Why does that mean a lot to you? At 16, let me reiterate that, 16, I started having other 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds coming up to me going, what have you been doing? And then I realized it wasn't because of the weight that I'd lost. It was because all of a sudden, I walked with my chest out a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, I still had another 50 pounds to go or so, but I felt better about myself. I walked with a little bit more briskness. I talked with people more often. I looked people in the eye. Which leads me to another little side story. I was at the store one day with a buddy of mine. I ran into him randomly. And I'm saying hi to everybody that walks by, and my buddy, he goes, Jesus, do you just know everybody? And I'm like, absolutely not. And he goes, well, you're saying hi to everybody like you know them. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's amazing what eye contact does, huh? And he goes, why? Why do you do it? And I said, let me tell you, Mike, I spent more of my life with my head down, feeling like I didn't deserve to look people in the eye, than I have feeling like I deserve to look people in the eye. And once I decided I'm never going to hang my head low ever again, hell yeah, I'm going to look everybody in the eye that walks by, and I'm going to say, hey, how you doing? Because for so long, I didn't even feel like I was worth that. Hey. Let me start over. And
that's okay.
that's a little side tangent, and I never got in my head again. And that was why people started to come and ask me what I've been doing, and people wanted to know, how can I do what you're doing? It wasn't because I lost the weight, as much as that was what I wanted it to be. Real quick, lost 90 pounds, month-long eating disorder, depression, 2 suicide attempts. You're up to speed. Go. Oh, California. That explain? Yep. Okay, perfect. I like you. You're awesome. And that was why people started to approach me. That was why people wanted to know what I was doing, because then all of a sudden people started opening up to me about their problems. And at 16, I was damn near a therapist. And that was enlightening, so to speak. A little anxiety building, because at 16 I'm going, I'm dealing with my own crap here. For sure I'll help you out with whatever I know. Because at 16, I'll be honest, I didn't know much. At 26 years old, the age that I am right now, I still don't know all that much. I'm not someone that's got it all figured out. I'm not here because I've won in life. I'm here because I have figured some stuff out that'll be helpful along your journey, hopefully. I'm here because I've gone through some experiences that are so common, yet swept under the rug. Because in today's day and age, with Facebook and Twitter and Foursquare and you name it and all that fun stuff, you got this image you gotta uphold. You gotta have a cool profile picture. You gotta let everyone know that you're all right, you're awesome, you're good to go. But how many of you go home and you deal with your own misery? Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to show your hands on this one, but how many of you refuse to share it with anybody? I promise you, you're not alone. And it's okay. It's all right. And if it's not true, well, then that's okay too. Thanks for participating. Because I know it's more true than the hands that went up. And that's my point, and that's okay. I'm not here to turn this into a circle session, and we're all going to discuss our issues. What I am here to do is to let you know that, one, you're not alone. You've all got mountains to climb. And all of our mountains are different. All of our issues, all the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, they are going to be different for every one of us. But at the same time, you better believe they're going to be just as hard. And you don't have to have a bleacher story to know pain, like I said. You don't have to deal with the things that I dealt with to understand the feelings that I felt. So when I say that I look through and I see all your faces going, yeah, tells me you get it. Tells me you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the world could be a rough, lonely place. And so what I did with my experiences as I went, I started to lose more weight, and I actually got into bodybuilding, and I got into, have any of you heard of Tough Mudder? Yeah, hey. I've run 4 of them. I've led groups of 50 through Tough Mudder. I actually have become friends with the MC of the guy who tours the country and runs all the Tough Mudders. I've done a lot of cool things with my experiences once I started to realize that I could do a lot of cool things with my experiences. But I remember when I couldn't hold a push-up position. I remember when just staying in that straight arm push-up position, my arms would shake and my body would collapse and fall. And so when I say that I've accomplished some pretty cool things, I am far from genetically dispositioned to just have that wired in me. Nothing has come easy to me, ever. But that leads me to one of my favorite sayings: if it were easy, then it wouldn't be spent. And so I started to collect these experiences, and I started to realize, like I told you all, I am the voice of a majority, not a minority. And I said, I'm going to do something about that. And I said, even though I don't have everything figured out, I said, even though I am still a broken man and forever will be a broken man, I'm always going to have a body image issue. I'm always going to have body dysmorphic disorder. For those of you that don't know what that is, I do not see myself in the mirror the same way that other people see me. I'm always going to have food as my drug of choice. I've just learned how to deal with it better. So I'm always going to be broken. But broken isn't bad. Broken's not bad at all. Broken's common, shoot. Life's imperfections are beautiful, and they're accepted. And so I started to go to work creating a group transformation program. Started out as a personal trainer, and went and I got my certification, and I got another one, and then I started to really craft and go into my circuits brain and figure out what would I have wanted when I was at my deepest and darkest. What would I have wanted when I felt like there was no hope? When every morning, every night, and every day, and every minute, and every moment I felt like I was hopeless. What would have worked for me? Where I didn't have to go through this painful journey of feeling like I had to burden everything on my own. That I had to hold it all back and not share with anybody. And I thought, that's the ticket right there. I want a place where people feel safe. I want to create a group experience where people know that you're coming in, and even though you're going to have a different experience than you, that we're all there for the same reason. So I firmly believe you point at a place on a map, there's more than one road to get there, and all the roads are going to be different, but we're all got the same destination. We just want to be healthy and happy. And I thought, all right, well, with this whole health thing, what's the issue? Taking care of yourself, why is it so hard? Because we all know the benefits of when you're not eating junk and you're active. And activity can be many different things to many of you. And by active, I mean not sitting playing Call of Duty for 18 hours straight. You know what I mean? You know, yeah. And like, man, that felt super awesome. No, it sucks. I don't know how else to put it. But what it is being happy. It's feeling good. It's going to bed knowing that you made not only good decisions for yourself, but you don't mutilate yourself. You don't submit to, oh, I'm just always going to be this way, things are always going to be this way, because I refuse to take that. And thusly, being the majority, being an ambassador of y'all, you refuse to accept that, only you just don't know. And so I called my team, Team Hulk. Because what does the Incredible Hulk do when he's between a rock and a hard place? You put the Incredible Hulk in a tough position and he hulks out, man. Rather than submitting, Hulk smash! And then Marvel sent me a cease and desist letter. And I said, duly noted, I will not try to fight you guys on this. And, but it was the image, it was the thought process behind what the Hulk represented, not the Hulk himself. It was when you are at your deepest and darkest, do you Hulk out and puff your chest out and say, I got this? Or do you just curl up and just hope it all ends soon? Growing up and hoping it all ends soon doesn't really always work out all that well. Because then that's you not steering your own rudder. That's not you being the pilot that you need to be. And around the same exact time, in fact, the day after I got the cease and desist letter from Marvel, I had just come back from being chosen to be a group, or be part of a group of 25 individuals from all around the country who viewed fitness differently, who viewed health differently. That's the fitness rebellion. I'm one of the 25, and if you'll look at the lovely blonde lady behind you all, she is also another one of the 25. Her name is Jill. Everyone say hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill. Hi, everyone.
And what they asked for was they said, we're looking for people that view fitness differently. We're looking for people that aren't approaching it with, you too can get six-pack abs. I'm John Bastow. And I said, that's me right there. And before I saw the application video, or before I even let it finish, I'm typing up my resume. I'm going, God, let me in on this thing. They did. And it was perfect because when Marvel sent me the cease and desist letter, I had built up a really good sized group. I was working with 75 individuals with many more that would float in and out. 75. 75. And many more that would float in and out. That believe in the message that I'm talking to you guys about right now. And what the Fitness Rebellion is doing is they're trying to reach out to all the people that are intimidated by what health and fitness should be by today's standards and today's societies. Because I'm going to give you a stat. It's a 60-40 stat. 40% of the nation has health and fitness on lockdown. They got it wired. They're good to go. They know how to take care of themselves. They have no problem being active. They just get it. The jerks. Just kidding. If that's one of you, you're awesome. And then there's 60%. There's 60% that don't think that there's a place for them. Right? There's 60% that are exactly what I was talking about up there, you know? I have that same shirt, by the way. We're pretty much besties now. And guess what? You don't have to be good at math, because I'm not, to know that
Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Josh. Oops.
And I've got a saying back at home, and it's either you're participating or you're spectating. But us 60%, we're banding together. And as a fitness rebellion, we're reaching out to the entirety of that 60% and letting everyone know, oh, trust me, there's a place for you. There's more of us than there is of them. Because that 40%, they got it. They're good. But they can no longer run and dictate what health and fitness means. That 40% no longer gets to say, this is what being healthy means, this is what you have to do at a gym, this is what the big story is that you have to have. You need to run a marathon to be acceptable and healthy. You need to have medals of accomplishments that you've done. No, you don't. You need to feel happy about yourself. You need to feel like you can look in the mirror and smile. So I've got another saying that I firmly believe in. You're only as beautiful on the outside as you feel on the inside. And until you learn to love yourself, you'll only see ugly in the mirror. And it goes back to how I look people in the eye everywhere I go. Because for so long I didn't feel worthy of it because I couldn't even do that to myself. Almost I'm donor. And that's what we're here for. Because it starts with you, it starts with us, it starts within. And so if you get anything about what I came here to talk to you about today, what I want you to understand is that with whatever pain and whatever misery you all are dealing with, you're not alone. Not at all, not by a long shot. You know, my goal is wherever I go. I've spoken in Litchfield a few days ago. We ran a pilot program for a rebellion program last night at the Anytime Fitness right down the street. I'm speaking in St. James tonight. My goal is everywhere I go is to let everyone know, to encourage. What's that? The Anytime Fitness out there. Are you from that area? Dude, come on down, man. 6:30. Party. You say you don't have a membership? Is that what you said?
No, you don't have to.
Wait, what? No? Yeah.
You can come.
Oh, yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say,
open to everybody.
My point is, regardless, come on down. Everyone, come on down. It's going to be a party. But I'll be running a boot camp then. Just warning you. You haven't seen my fiery boot camp side yet.
Let's do a little bit.
What's that?
Let's do a little boot camp.
You guys want to do a little something? Yeah. Yep, I heard some yups.
We could at least rebel
I
yell.
heard more yups than nopes. Oh, it's going to happen. Sorry, you knowers. You might as well get used to it.
At least we could start with the rebel yell. That would get us going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're reading ahead, Jill.
Oh, I'm sorry. One of my faults.
So if you get anything about, or if you take away anything from what I came here to talk about, one, you're not alone, far from it. Two, encourage that person to the left and right of you. Not only are you in charge of your own pilot, but let everyone know that it's okay for them to ever climb their mountain. Don't ever degrade anybody when they're going through their own journey, because you never know. You never know what someone's going through. Ever, ever, ever. You never know the struggles that the person to the left and to the right of you is going through. And so to pretend like you do, you don't. And so I hope that you can take that away. How we're going to work the most important muscles you've got, your heart and your soul. And when you start there, I've seen some beautiful things happen. There's a reason my groups have grown and started with 5 people, then went to 10, then 15, then 20, then 25, then 50, then 75, and then I had to cap it off because, hey, I'm only one guy. I can only do so much. And that's what I hope I'm able to express here today. So we're going to switch gears here. It's okay. What? Now, before I have you guys put your chairs aside, and we make a little bit of space here to get down with the get down. Don't worry, it's not going to be too bad. It's just going to be just a nice little sample platter.
This is a movement.
I want y'all to loosen up a little bit. Nah, yeah, there we go. How many of y'all seen the movie 300? Heck yeah. Now in that movie they got a battle cry. This is where you see my feisty boot camp side. That battle cry, I know the ones that have seen this movie know it, but for those that haven't seen this movie, let me just give you a little bit of an example. It's kind of like watching fireworks. It's followed by boo. Those will sound like this. Oh! You're about to do it too. Shazam! That's right. Now, I'm going to tell you why I do this at my boot camps at home. I'm going to tell you why every single person that I work with back in California knows that when I say sound off, they give everything they got. I laugh when I'm nervous too, and I don't know how to handle someone that's freaking out. Holy hell, he's losing it. I'm just gonna laugh. I'm not handless. I'm gonna tell you why I do that though back home. When I say sound off, I can't tell you what 75 people sounds like doing an ah-ooh. I had the pleasure of speaking in Chicago because I was the Anytime Fitness Success Story of the Year, one of them. And I actually got to cap off the conference and accept my award, and I got to talk for a little bit. And if you can't tell, I'm a little long-winded. They told me I could talk for 2 minutes. I went well past that. And I gave everyone the same sort of deal that I'm giving you now. I told them all about the auto. I gave them that same example. Don't worry, that people laugh then too. But then I had everyone do it. Now there was 1,400 fitness professionals here. It was in the biggest ballroom in Chicago that they have, in one of the most historical buildings that they've got. 1,400 people all did the sound off on cue. And what was cool about it was so many people that were so pumped up that when they did their ah-ooh, I swear to God, the walls shook just a little bit. And there was like 2 seconds of dead silence after, followed by, yeah! Because it took everybody back. Everyone went, ow! And the walls shook, and then everyone went, oh. Yes! Yes! And that's why I do it. Because it unifies the hell out of everybody that does it together. Keyword together. It's going to be good, I promise you. You're shaking your head. I'm shaking my head, yes. Because your comfort zone does nothing for you, and a lot of us here aren't used to yelling. I can tell you that I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of those people that didn't want to be noticed at all. My dream was to have a cubicle job where I showed up to work for 8 hours, and I stayed out everyone's hair, and no one would ever be bothered by me, and I wouldn't be bothered by anybody, and the last thing I ever wanted to do was be noticed. I failed at that. Miserably. Because here I am. And so I said, everyone's got that beast inside, that voice that's just dying to get let out. And it feels good to scream a little bit. Feels good to let loose a little bit. all do it together. So now I'm done with explaining it, and I'm going to tell you what I expect. Oh, shoot. I expect everything y'all got. I expect everything you've all got. And people hate me back at home because I got an uncanny ear. And I'll hear you if you didn't give everything that you got. I will hear that one person, and I will make everyone do it again. And again and again and again until I feel like every person gave every bit that they've got. So I want to ask y'all, you ready to give everything you got with this sound off?
Yes.
Okay, so I heard a no, but that's okay. It's like I said, you're either participating or you're spectating, and participating is a whole hell of a lot more fun. It's going to go like this. Oh! Followed by ooh. Listen up! I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to say sound off. Y'all are going to do the exact same thing. And you can laugh afterwards. It's okay. Here we go! 1, 2, 3! You were early, but I like the enthusiasm. I love the enthusiasm, actually. And your hair's great, too. Just want you to know that. It matches the shirt and the hair. It makes your eyes pop. Get it, girl. So we're going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. I say sound off, then y'all give me your best out. 1, 2, 3, sound! Still early, I like it though. It is. Because you guys are excited and you got enthusiasm. The goal is achieved. Y'all are laughing, y'all are having a good time, and y'all are feeling warmed up. So we're going to move on from that. We're going to push these chairs aside. I'm going to bring you through a little something. So go ahead, stand on up.
You gonna be on this end? You gonna be on this end, or are you gonna be?
So I want people to line up right here, facing this way, and I want people to do the exact same thing right here. You know, try to come on already. I like your style.
I'm gonna go over here.
Ow! Now, before we do this, I want you all to understand the significance of what we're about to do. I do this with all my groups back at home when I do leg days. So say bye now. And now this, right here, what we're about to do, you don't have to take it seriously in your head if you don't want to, but I want you to understand that this right here, what you are doing right here, the reason that I am here, the reason that I do this back at home, and the reason why I'll do this until the day that I die, the reason that I live and breathe this, is because this saves lives. And so for every person that doesn't take this seriously, for every person that makes a mockery of it, for every person that makes a joke out of this, I want you to understand that you're exactly what I was talking about when I said encourage the person next to you. And when you mock this, it takes away from the importance of what this really does mean to somebody. And if this means something to somebody, this is exactly what someone needs, because you never know. I never know who's going to leave here today being impacted. I never know who's going to leave here today and be the next me. I never know who's going to take charge of their life after this. Now, I've spoken at a lot of schools. I don't know if you can tell. And at every school, there's always a jokester. There's always a person that loves to just have a grand old time with what we're doing and kind of make fun of it a little bit. And that's fine. I'll accept that, because I'm going to call you out right now. I'm going to say, if you end up being that person, have fun, because everyone else is going to look at you in the same exact light that I just exposed. But you guys are an awesome group. I don't think we're going to have one of those people here today. Don't worry, we're not going to work out for a half hour or nothing. I'm not going to kill you. No, we're not going to be doing anything jumpy. This is just a taste. This is just an opportunity to put your body to a limitation and surpass it. This is a chance to prove to you you really can do anything. Now, this simple exercise that I'm about to do with you right now, it's not the craziest. It's simple as hell. I'm not going to bring to you the next, whoa, I've never seen that movement before. That's not what we're doing. What we're about to do, I've seen professional athletes get crippled doing this. I've worked with MMA fighters, professional basketball players, baseball players, football players, rugby players. And the reason that they get crippled is because they go, oh man, this is just a former fat kid. This is just some guy that lost some weight and thinks he's tough. And I say, no, I am a former fat kid. But I do this because I don't want to just breeze through a workout. I don't want to take something and go, oops, better through that, did that, easy. So if it were easy, it wouldn't be special. I'm going to have you do. So I'm going to have everybody get into a squat position. You're going to put your arms up in what I call a defensive position. So forearms out. And everyone is going to be responsible for their own 5 squat count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the end of the 5th, great shirt. At the end of the 5th, you're going to hold. Yes. There's my favorite stick. No. And we're going to do that 10 times in a row. That means 50 squats. That means holding that squat stick for 5 seconds, which translates to 50 seconds. So essentially, we're doing 50 squats and holding the squat stick for 50 seconds. That ain't too bad. Yes, it is. You're a liar. And so what I want y'all to do is give everything you've got. Because this is your opportunity to push past that point when, say, normally you quit because something gets too hard. Life's always going to be hard. Life is always going to be hard, but it's what you make of it. Y'all ready to do it? Yes. Yes. Sound up! Oh! It was the one. What's your name? Zach. Zach? I want y'all to do Zach some justice for me real quick here. I want y'all to meet Zach on his level because he met me on mine. That's all I want. I came all the way from California to yell and scream in front of y'all. He can do the same with me. Ain't that right? I'll take that silence as a yes. So we're going to do it again. This one's in honor of Zach. Because, man, he's like, oh, it's the only one you jerks by. We're going to do it again. Sound up! Oh, that's what I'm talking about. There it is. So go ahead and get in that squat position. Arms up. Here we go. Let's do it. We're going to start that 5 squats in 3, 2, 1, and go. Count out your 5. Once you hit 5, hold on the bottom. I start the 5-second counter when everybody's down. He's out. He's out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going. 5 squats. Here we go. Here we go. Count out that 5. Keep that chest out. Keep that head up. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Keep going. Count out your 5, 4, 5. 5, 4, It's simple stuff, ain't it? It's amazing how it's simple stuff. What's that? That's right. Yeah.